Yes, guys, it's finally time for me to talk about Monster Musume, and yeah, I am sorry that it's so late, but I forgot when I said in my Monochrome review that I didn't have anything to distract me, that I have a raid every Saturday that doesn't take that long, so it wasn't really that you know took the time. It was actually because a guildmate needed help to achievement that went fast also. But then he asked me if I had done what's it called, that Hellfire Citadel, and I hadn't done anything in that this week, so we ran it, and I got my fourth tier piece, which meant that I finally have my fourth T. I have unlocked my fourth set uh, bonus. So yes, it has been a good day. But let's talk about this episode of Monster Musume, which relocates a little thing because it starts out in chapter 16 and goes to chapter 13, which is in chapter 3. And um, so yeah, and it's actually really interesting because we see how Arachnia, oh, no, not Arachnia, Rachnira or something. Yeah, I cannot recall the name. Spidey. Yeah, that's what Puppy calls it. In the manga at least. Basically, how she loves to spy on people and see how basically learn their secrets, and how she easily handles like Mia and basically like her Mia's jealousy by basically whipping her up, and yeah, well, Papi and Sue she fast win over by making them. I can't recall the name of it. Basically, this one they may basically, yeah, and Miro, yeah, well, she thinks Spidey is uh, a crap of some kind, so there's really none that is with her. Even what she called Centuria, she isn't with her because she says to Mia, uh, 2 seconds to recall the quote, basically that basically you shouldn't judge a book on its cover because, or said in other words, Spidey, she may look bad, shall we say, or she does may not look pleasant to the eye, but or like a bad person, but that doesn't mean she is a bad person because just because yeah, let's say example that you had scars in your face or tattoos on your hands doesn't make you a bad person. It's just a choice you made, or maybe it's just the way you was born because as a or just been unlucky, of course. So you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Of course, it doesn't help Spidey's case that she basically binds him up while he's in the bathroom, and yeah, in a position that could imply that she wanted to have sex with him. And later on, when she's like having him yeah, caught in her whip, and then basically are like in the nude. Yeah, that doesn't help her case, and this of course makes Centuria angry and causes her to run off with the master and having a fantasy about them running off and or running away together and starting a life, yeah, the typical one. But we are met with a old person from. You remember the guy that Darling couldn't beat up, like uh, in the first episode? He is back, and Bimbo is also back. And yeah, let's say it like this: they was actually gonna do really ugly things to Centauria, at least the human parts. Uh, if it wasn't because Spidey, she basically saves her. So Spidey, she is a very, so you can see that she may look like a bad guy, but she isn't bad. She's really good, and also we learned that what's called Centauria, she really don't like Arachnia, and of course that's fine that you don't like it, because it would be hypocritically to think that we could get along with everybody, because there will always be somebody we can't get along with. And that is a very important life lesson in this one. There's actually two in this chapter. There is that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and it's okay to dislike people, uh, or it's okay that you don't like them, uh, because it's hypocritical to try to be like get along with everybody. So yeah, that's a good life lesson actually. And that ends the chapter in this book. So we need to get this one. It's really interesting because it starts out with what's it called? Darlin basically being sick, and yeah, Mia, she wanna, like treat him. She basically dresses up in a maid outfit. And here is a addition, because in the manga, uh, what's it called, Spidey, she isn't in this. Shall we say, in the manga she isn't there, but in the anime she is. So it's a good relocation again, and also it makes sense why they chose to relocate, but they better not relocate the chapter 6 says 18, because I really, really want to see that, and it better be good animation. It better be. So yeah, basically, she want to treat them, but what's it called, Mrs. Smith? She basically jumps through the window and like says to all the monster girls that they have to go, basically stay back from Darlin, because uh, that they could cause a epidemic, or basically if they got some germs that if the monster girls they contracted one of the disease Darlin had, it could cause a new virus to like basically cause the virus that maybe was like harmless to a human to mutate and maybe kill a lot of monster non-humans. And we have seen that before, because there has been, I think, actually, what is called the bird flu. It was harmless to birds, but when it came to humans, you know what could happen there. And yeah, of course, let's say it like this: the monster girls want to help them, so they basically pick Sue, because she is the only person in the group that can catch the disease. And it's interesting because we learned that Sue can actually transform into, like she actually takes the form of Darlin in this one, and she does that so the girls basically can teach her how to treat it, what's it called, a sick person, but they kind of don't wanna. They kind of does it wrong, because what they teach them is, I wouldn't say that is how a Centauri at least tries, but the others, it's just like, okay, Miru, she kind of have the right idea, but it's not working that good for humans. So yeah, puppies. Yeah, even though I must say that is, I would like that, but it's not the right thing actually. So yeah, but well, let us say it like this: Sue, because basically, like after she has tried all what the girls has taught her, she basically uses her te- her yeah, what's it called, not tentacle, or the thing on her head, to read Darling Kun's mind and find out that the reason that he got sick was because he went out in the rain to get her, because water can basically make her like melt. So he went out with a umbrella to basically ensure that she had something to protect her from the rain. But in that act, he got like drenched, and that caused him to get sick. And she didn't read it in his mind that he is having pains in his throat and he wants water. So she let him drink, or she let him drink of her water, which cured him. And we actually, this is also really interesting, because normally Sue just imitate others, but when when you know uh, when the girls like the other girls comes in, they are Sue says like it's okay. She has cured the master, and it was her fault that he got sick, and that she loves the master. And none of them has taught Sue that. So that is actually Sue. So Sue, she isn't just a puppet, so to speak. She actually has a personality, and that is why this chapter was so important, and why I would have been so angry if they skipped it, because it's really important for Sue. It's really important for Sue. Sue needs development also. Yeah, and I will say this episode, it was really great. I think it took like an hour to get through because of all the great scenes I had to screen cap, and I'll most likely have to go through and look at the screen caps, because it's hard to decide which one I want to use actually as thumbnail. But well, guys, I don't know what I will be reviewing next, which is kind of interesting.